To err is human, to forgive, divine. Forgiveness is not always easy. At times, it feels more painful than the wound we suffered, to forgive the one that inflicted it. And yet, there is no peace without forgiveness. I shall be an autocrat, that's my trade. And the good Lord will forgive me, that's His. It is easier to forgive an enemy than to forgive a friend. It is often easier to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. Acceptance and tolerance and forgiveness, those are life-altering lessons. For me, forgiveness and compassion are always linked. How do we hold people accountable for wrongdoing and yet at the same time remain in touch with their humanity enough to believe in their capacity to be transformed? If there is something to pardon in everything, there is also something to condemn. Forgiveness is God's command. It's not an easy journey, to get to a place where you forgive people, but it is such a powerful place, because it frees you. Forgiveness is the remission of sins, for it is by this that what has been lost, and was found, is saved from being lost again. Beware of the man who does not return your blow, he neither forgives you nor allows you to forgive yourself. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. We win by tenderness, we conquer by forgiveness. Never does the human soul appear so strong as when it forgoes revenge and dares to forgive an injury. When you forgive, you in no way change the past, but you sure do change the future. Forgotten is forgiven. One of the secrets of a long and fruitful life is to forgive everybody everything every night before you go to bed. Forgiveness is an act of the will, and the will can function regardless of the temperature of the heart. God forgive you, but I never can. Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. The stupid neither forgive nor forget, the naive forgive and forget, the wise forgive but do not forget. Man has two great spiritual needs. One is for forgiveness, the other is for goodness. When I was a kid I used to pray every night for a new bicycle. Then I realized that the Lord doesn't work that way, so I stole one and asked Him to forgive me. We cannot embrace God's forgiveness if we are so busy clinging to past wounds and nursing old grudges. God will forgive me, it's His job. Forgive me my nonsense, as I also forgive the nonsense of those that think they talk sense. Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. Forgiveness is the final form of love. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, to forgive. Forgive everybody. The bitterest tears shed over graves are for words left unsaid and deeds left undone. Forgiveness is not a feeling, it's a decision we make because we want to do what's right before God. It's a quality decision that won't be easy and it may take time to get through the process, depending on the severity of the offense. Forgiveness is the economy of the heart. Forgiveness saves the expense of anger, the cost of hatred, the waste of spirits. Holding on to anger, resentment and hurt only gives you tense muscles, a headache and a sore jaw from clenching your teeth. Forgiveness gives you back the laughter and the lightness in your life. God may forgive your sins, but your nervous system won't. Forgiveness says you are given another chance to make a new beginning. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. There is no revenge so complete as forgiveness. As we know, forgiveness of oneself is the hardest of all the forgivenesses. The people who did you wrong or who didn't quite know how to show up, you forgive them. And forgiving them allows you to forgive yourself too. Never forget the three powerful resources you always have available to you: love, prayer, and forgiveness. He that cannot forgive others, breaks the bridge over which he himself must pass if he would ever reach heaven, for everyone has need to be forgiven. Children begin by loving their parents. After a time they judge them, rarely, if ever, do they forgive them. Humanity is never so beautiful as when praying for forgiveness, or else forgiving another. Inner peace can be reached only when we practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is letting go of the past, and is therefore the means for correcting our misperceptions. The lesson is that you can still make mistakes and be forgiven. Anger begets more anger, and forgiveness and love lead to more forgiveness and love. Forgiveness is a virtue of the brave. Before we can forgive one another, we have to understand one another. Forgive yourself for your faults and your mistakes and move on. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.